My wife asked for an open marriage. I asked for divorce. I'm Kevin, 38 years old, and for the past 12 years, I've been married to Sarah. We met in our mid-20s, back when life felt simpler, and the biggest decision was what to order for dinner. Our relationship was, for the most part, stable, no big highs, no crushing lows, just steady. She was sweet, kind, the kind of woman you introduced to your parents and they immediately loved her. I thought the world of her, genuinely. We had built a life together, a home, routines, the works. 12 years is a significant chunk of a man's life, you know. It's not some casual fling you can just shrug off. So, when she dropped the bomb on me last month, it hit me like a damn freight train. We were sitting on the couch, watching some garbage reality show she liked, and she just blurted it out. What if we consider opening up the marriage? Because all her friends did it, and it's 2024. I tell you what, I didn't get angry. Not outwardly. Anyway, my stomach just twisted into a knot. Cold and hard. It felt like someone had punched me in the gut. But there was no sound. No immediate pain. Just that tightening sensation. My mind was racing, trying to process what the hell I'd just heard. Her friends did it. And it's 2024. Like that was some kind of universal law. I just listened. Let her finish. And then I asked her about it. Calmly. I asked if her friends were influencing her. She said no. Total bullshit. I could see it in her eyes. It was the same look she used to get when she was trying to convince me to go to some stupid art exhibit she knew I'd hate. But her friends were all going. Then I asked if she already had someone in mind. She denied it. Quick as a whip. Another load of crap. My gut told me, but what could I do? Call her a liar to her face right then and there. That wasn't my style. I needed to think. I told her I needed some time. A few days. To process it. She agreed. All sweet and understanding. Saying we didn't have to do it if I wasn't up for it. More crap. I knew damn well that if I had said no right then, it would have been a whole different conversation. The but honey routine. The guilt trips. The subtle pouting. I'd seen it all before. In the days that followed. I was a wreck. Sleep didn't come easy. My mind just kept replaying her words. Her face, the way she just tossed it out there like she was asking if we needed more milk. I tried to focus at work, but my head was a mess. It was hard to concentrate, to give a shit about spreadsheets when my whole damn world felt like it was tilting on its axis. I kept feeling this tight band around my chest, like someone was squeezing the air out of me. I knew it was the stress, the constant churn of my thoughts. I felt like I was walking on eggshells even when she wasn't around, anticipating the next move, the next conversation. I shouldn't have, but I checked her phone and laptop. I told myself it was wrong, a violation of trust. But what the hell was I supposed to do? My wife just asked for permission to screw other guys. Of course I was going to check. I went through everything I could find. Emails, texts, social media. Nothing, not a damn thing. It made me question myself. Made me think maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I was just being a paranoid asshole. But then the nagging voice in the back of my head spoke up. How do you know that's her only device? That thought stuck with me. A little thorn. I'd seen enough stories. Heard enough from other guys. People find ways. Last week, I finally had my answer ready. I'd thought about it until my brain felt like scrambled eggs. I sat her down, and I told her, I looked her dead in the eyes and said, in my opinion, you can date anybody you want because I want a divorce. The look on her face, she wasn't expecting it, not at all. The sweetness drained out of her, replaced by shock, then something like horror. Then came the waterworks, the sobbing, the begging, the whole damn routine. If I knew, I wouldn't have even asked. She wailed. Bullshit. Pure, unadulterated bullshit. She refused to move out. And hell, I wasn't going to either. It was my house as much as hers. So, I packed a few things and moved into the guest room. It felt like a cold war had started. Every time I was home, she was there, trying to talk, trying to beg me to come back to the bedroom. I knew what that was about. Get me back in bed. Get me to feel guilty. Maybe even get me pregnant and then I'm stuck. Not a chance. She took sick leave from work, which just added to the whole damn mess. Every corner I turned, she was there, a shadow, a reminder of what she'd asked, of what she'd revealed. I believed her friends had put this bug in her ear, egged her on, but that didn't excuse her. She was a grown woman, capable of her own damn decisions. This whole thing unraveled my perception of her, of our entire marriage. Was I too fast to mention divorce? Hell no. This wasn't about being fast. This was about drawing a line in the sand. When your partner asks for an open marriage, they're asking for permission to cheat. It's that simple. And when they ask for that permission, they've already betrayed you. The trust is gone. You can't just put that back in the box. The next part of this shit show came a few days later. I was still living in the guest room, still dealing with her constant presence and pleas. I was still clinging to the slim hope that maybe, just maybe, I'd been wrong. Maybe she was truly naive, truly influenced by her idiot friends. Then she came forward, with a second phone, a phone I had no idea she even owned. That's when it all clicked. The gut feeling, the nothing suspicious on her main devices, the whole damn charade. It was all a lie. She thought I already knew. That's why she came out with it. She just folded. She said her friend, some bitch named Jessica, had sweet-talked her into it. Apparently, these open marriages were just affairs, thinly disguised. The things I saw on that phone, stomach-churning, messages, pictures, plans. She was planning to physically cheat. Emotionally, she was already there. She'd been talking to some guy, planning to meet up. My heart just felt like a lead weight in my chest. It wasn't just a punch to the gut anymore. It was like a sledgehammer. My wife, the sweet, innocent woman I thought I knew for 12 years, was a goddamn liar and a cheater. A part of me, the weak, stupid part, briefly considered giving her a second chance. The part that still loved the idea of the woman I married, the life we had built, but then the logical part, the part that had taken blow after blow, slapped that thought away. Don't do it. Kevin, don't be a fool. If I stayed, she'd only learn that she could get away with anything. She'd think I was a doormat. This wasn't about love anymore. It was about dignity, pride, and self-respect. The love I thought I had for her, for the woman I believed her to be, became irrelevant. This wasn't her. The woman I loved would never have done this. She wouldn't have been swayed by her idiot friends, wouldn't have plotted behind my back, wouldn't have bought a second damn phone to hide her tracks. She's a grown-ass adult, capable of making her own decisions. Her friends didn't force her hand. She made her choice. I started talking to a lawyer. It was all moving forward, slow but steady. I was finally starting to see a path out of this mess. And then, life decided to kick me in the teeth again. Someone very close to me, my cousin Mark, passed away in a car accident. Everything stopped. The divorce, the anger, the hurt, it all just froze in place. Grief took over, and in the middle of all that, Sarah, my soon-to-be ex-wife, wanted to organize the funeral. I tried to stop her, but she still did. She had the audacity to say my behavior wasn't fair because Mark was like a son to her as well, and that in a moment like this, we should stick together. Then she dropped the kicker. Then she doesn't care if I divorce her or not. The sheer nerve of it. She didn't care, after all she'd done. And she wanted to pretend we were a united front for the sake of appearances. Like hell, I couldn't deal with her. Not with everything else going on. She couldn't respect my grief, couldn't honor it. So I stopped talking to her altogether. She could talk, cry, complain all she wanted. I wouldn't respond. What was the point? We were getting divorced. She was free to do whatever she wanted, as long as it was away from me. 2 days ago, I took Mark's ashes. I gathered them up, his final remains, and I moved, not just out of the guest room, but out of the house. I moved into the apartment above my restaurant. It's a small place, but it's mine, and it's quiet. My brother works as the bartender there, and I told him, and all the other employees, to turn her away if she showed up. I didn't want her anywhere near me, anywhere near the only place I had left to feel some peace. She tried blowing up my phone, texting me, calling me. She said taking the ashes was a low blow and that we should stick together in this tragedy. I just blocked her. I couldn't deal with her emotional manipulation. Not anymore. Not when I was grieving. Not when I was trying to rebuild my life from the ground up. I just want to be alone in my grief and get this divorce over with. There's nothing left to say. I know some people, maybe a lot of people, would call me an asshole for how I handled the funeral, for blocking her calls. But honestly, I don't give a damn what they think. She betrayed me. She cheated. She asked for an open marriage. She wanted to screw other guys. And then she had the nerve to act like I was the bad guy, like I was the one being unreasonable. This wasn't about a lapse in judgment on her part. This was a fundamental betrayal of trust, a shattering of everything I thought our marriage was. She showed me who she really was, and it wasn't the woman I married. You don't come back from that. You just don't. I lost the woman I loved, but I gained back my self-respect. And for now, that's all I've got. It's been a few weeks since I moved into the apartment above the restaurant. The place is small, just a bedroom, a living area, and a cramped kitchen, but it feels like a damn palace compared to the guest room back at the house. Every morning, I wake up to the smell of coffee and frying bacon wafting up from downstairs. which is a hell of a lot better than waking up to the silent treatment or the sounds of Sarah crying in the other room. My brother, Mike, has been a rock star. He's been handling most of the bar stuff, letting me take my time, grieve for Mark, and just exist. He knows what's up with Sarah. 2, I told him the whole story. The open marriage bullshit. The second phone, the whole ugly truth. He didn't sugarcoat it. Good on you, man, he'd said, clapping me on the shoulder. 12 years is a long time, but not long enough to be a damn fool. Hearing that from him, a guy who's seen his fair share of messy breakups and bad decisions, actually helped. It was a reality check, a reminder that my anger wasn't just hurt pride. It was justified. The unwanted visitor. The blocking on my phone didn't stop her entirely. She started sending emails, long rambling ones, filled with the same self-pity and blame-shifting. I can't believe you're doing this to me, especially now. She wrote in one, as if she was the victim. Another one said, "You're supposed to support me, not judge me. This is just toxic masculinity. Kevin, toxic masculinity. Are you kidding me? This woman asked me for permission to screw other guys. Got caught red-handed with a second phone planning to do it. And now I'm the toxic one for not just rolling over and taking it. It was classic Sarah. Everything was always someone else's fault. Her friends influenced her. I was being unfair. I was too sensitive. Never once did she say, 'I messed up. I cheated.' It was infuriating. I just deleted them without reading past the first few lines. I didn't need that poison in my head. Then she started showing up at the restaurant. Mike was good about turning her away, but she was persistent. One afternoon, I was down in the kitchen, trying to distract myself by prepping some ingredients. When Mike came back, looking stressed, "She's out there, Kev. Says she's not leaving until she talks to you." My stomach clenched. I hated this. I just wanted peace. I wanted to grieve Mark and figure out my life without this constant drama. I poked my head out, and there she was, standing outside the restaurant door, looking distraught. She had on a dress I bought her for our anniversary 2 years ago. I felt a pang of something, not longing, but a weird sense of loss for the person I thought she was. She caught my eye, and her face lit up. A desperate, hopeful look. I just stared at her, not moving, not saying anything. Mike stepped forward, blocking her view of me. "Sarah, I told you. He's not seeing anyone," Mike said, his voice firm but not aggressive. "This is ridiculous. Mike, he can't just ignore me forever. This is our marriage we're talking about. He's making me feel unsafe right now, just by refusing to talk to me." She wailed, loud enough for a few passers-by to turn their heads. Unsafe. Because I wasn't engaging with her manipulative bullshit. The irony was thick enough to choke on. "Just tell her to leave." "Mike," I said, my voice flat, coming from behind him. I didn't want to engage. I had nothing more to say. She heard me. "Of course. Kevin, please. We need to talk about Mark. He loved me too. That hit a nerve. He loved the person you pretended to be." "Sarah," I called out, then pulled back into the kitchen. I knew it was a low blow, but I was tired. Tired of the games. Tired of the drama. Tired of her trying to use Mark's death to manipulate me. My blood pressure felt like it was through the roof. My jaw was constantly clenched, and I kept waking up in the middle of the night, staring at the ceiling, replaying every goddamn conversation, every lie. The stress was taking its toll. My work performance was probably suffering, too. Even with Mike picking up the slack, I couldn't focus, couldn't concentrate on the numbers. The inventory, the hundreds of tiny details that keep a business running, it was all a blur. Digging in, she kept coming by for a few days, always at odd hours, hoping to catch me off guard. Each time, Mike or one of the other employees would send her packing. It was annoying as hell, but I had to admit, having a team that had my back made a difference. They didn't know all the details, but they knew enough that things were messy, that she was causing problems. It was a strange kind of comfort, knowing I wasn't alone in dealing with her. I spent most of my time trying to untangle our finances. We had joint accounts, shared bills, the whole typical setup for a married couple. It was a nightmare. She had a habit of spending freely, especially on things her friends were getting. New clothes, fancy dinners, trips. Meanwhile, I was the one making sure the mortgage was paid, the utilities were covered, and there was money in the savings account for a rainy day. Now, separating it all felt like pulling teeth. She complained about everything. Every time I suggested splitting a bill or closing an account, she'd whine about how I was punishing her or trying to leave her destitute. Destitute. She had a good job, plenty of her own money. She just liked spending mine. It was a classic move. her guarding her own money while freely spending mine. And I'd been too much of a provider, too trusting, to really see it clearly before I reached out to a lawyer again, a different one this time. Recommended by a buddy of mine from my old bowling league. This guy was a no-nonsense type, understood that I just wanted to get this over with. Cleanly and quietly, he told me to start documenting everything, every email, every attempted visit, every financial transaction. It felt clinical, almost dehumanizing, but I knew it was necessary. This wasn't a game, and I couldn't afford to be naive anymore. One evening, my friend Tom came by the restaurant after his shift. He's been divorced twice, so he knows a thing or two about messy endings. We sat at the bar, nursing a couple of beers, and I laid it all out for him. He just listened, nodding occasionally. When I finished, he took a long swig of his beer. "Look, man," he said, "it sucks. It always sucks. But you're doing the right thing. You saw the red flags, even if it took a second phone for them to slap you in the face. Most guys ignore that shit for years. Tell themselves it'll get better, or they can fix her. You didn't. That takes balls." The aftermath. His words resonated. I had tried to logic my way through it at first, giving her the benefit of the doubt, thinking there was some rational explanation for why she'd suddenly want an open marriage. I'd always been the analytical type, the guy who likes to understand the mechanics of things, whether it's a car engine or a relationship problem. But with Sarah, there were no mechanics, no logic, just pure, unadulterated selfishness. And I'd been stupid enough to think I could reason with that. My mistake was giving her time to think, to let her come up with more lies, more excuses. I should have ended it right then and there. But then again, I wouldn't have found out about the second phone. So maybe it was a mistake that served a purpose. I'm not gonna lie, it's still hard. 12 years is a long time to erase. Memories pop up at the worst times, a song on the radio, a smell, seeing a couple holding hands. It cuts deep. But then I remember the second phone, the lies, the complete disregard for my feelings, and that pain turns into a cold resolve. She didn't value me, not truly. She valued what I provided, what I represented to her and her friends. I still have moments where I question myself, where the what ifs sneak into my head. What if I had talked to her more? What if I had tried couples therapy? But then I remember that cold, hard knot in my stomach when she first brought it up. The feeling of betrayal even before I had concrete proof. My gut knew something was wrong, and this time, I'm trusting my gut. I'm working with the lawyer now to sort through everything. The house will likely be sold, our shared assets divided. It's a pain in the ass, a massive headache, but it's a necessary step. I'm starting to focus on the restaurant again, putting my energy into something productive, something that's truly mine. It's a good distraction, a place where I feel in control. I see her sometimes, driving past the restaurant or at the grocery store. She looks different, not the sweet, innocent Sarah I married. There's a hardness to her now, a bitterness. She's probably still telling everyone how I'm the bad guy, how I abandoned her in her time of grief. Let her. Her social circle might believe her for a while, but eventually, people see through that kind of act. The pattern always repeats itself. She'll burn bridges, and she'll be left with the consequences of her own choices. I just hope, for her sake, she eventually figures that out. I don't feel sorry for her. I feel done. Done with the drama. Done with the lies. Done with being someone's convenient stepping stone. I'm still grieving Mark, and that pain is raw and real. But separate from that, there's a quiet determination building inside me. This whole ordeal has changed me, no doubt. I'm not the same man who blindly trusted and provided without question. I'm harder, maybe a little more cynical, but I'm also clearer. I know what I won't tolerate. I know what I deserve, and for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm finally putting myself first, without apology. It's a long road ahead, but I'll walk it, alone, if I have to.